Hello. Today's day 63 of the 75-day Spirit Baby Devotional, and I woke up and I was feeling so many intense feelings today. Like really intense feelings. And I think that's like the biggest aspect of collective messages that has been hard for me to really be with, is choosing to be a space that fills into collective energy, hold that space, and move that energy. Feel as though that's all readers or intuitives' biggest responsibilities when it comes to the desire, the space, the calling to hold this kind of space, to share these kind of messages, to share themselves, to open themselves up to people. Yeah. Like I said, it's day 63 of the 75-day Spirit Baby Devotional. And that is 63 days of filling into the collective's energy, filling into my desire to share what I am tuned into, and then sharing what comes. And this main component is the collective understanding that spirit babies exist, that spirit babies are awaiting to be welcomed, acknowledged, and relationships to be nourished with them, for people to innately understand their spiritual depth. And if they already understand it, understand it, to really embrace their spiritual depth and be moved by their spiritual depth, be moved by the connection that they have to the divine, to something more than themselves, to something that they cannot see. I myself have not always been spiritually tapped in. I used to be very jokey about being an atheist, of not believing in God, of just not really believing there was a purpose in life. And I had really morbid thoughts. I had a really morbid sense of humor. And it wouldn't be until I was desperate for help that I would pray to God. And some of my prayer to God it wasn't really anything of, a connection building kind of prayer. It was asking for something, asking for relief from the soul mission that I didn't remember or know when I was most in need, or probably mostly being held by him, honestly, because my teens were so hard and I was so mentally distressed. And today I was filling out a form for a therapist, and it asked me about like history of mental health issues and things of that nature. And it's been so long since I've actually lived in the space with like my family of origin that reflecting on it, it was like jarring about how much of the mental health distress went undiagnosed, disregarded, and kind of normalized. I take kind of out of there, normalized, and how little support so many of my family of origin received or were open to receiving. And there's always been this need to be all right, to push through, to just keep on keeping on without a loving attention. And I'm also on the fence about therapy, because when it comes to therapy, it makes me and my ego have a really distinctive conversation in regards to, you're just not doing enough, because if you were doing enough, then you wouldn't need to outsource your energy for support. And then little me is just looking at me like, but you're not, you me, and you not professionally trained in this field. And that's real. Or it's not even, I don't know. I have so many resources and access to so many tools to use for help, for aid, for support when it comes to just being mentally supported. That little me is also just like, there's nothing really wrong with just undivided attention from a mental health specialist. And that they serve their purpose the way they do. And there's also a part on the form that's like, tell me more about yourself. And I'm like, I'm very spiritually inclined. I'm very spiritually tapped in. And I have a big spiritual practice, I suppose. And I want that to be understood. And respected. And I want to be able to bridge the two. Receive support while also bridging my life. It feels like some of the complex childhood trauma that I've had, just in life, well, obviously in life, I just said that it's my childhood. I have the mental fortitude to hold it all, but holding it all is hard. And it's mentally a lot to hold it all. And that just is. And I believe that's really the message. Like, where the message is focused on is getting help where you can, allowing yourself to be held when you can. Honor the ability to receive support. Yeah. Because I guess I don't want to keep dumping on people. Is what it's felt like. And it feels like that's a block for me when it comes to my honesty and my story. And I want to be able to channel my story without so much mental embodiment of it. It's like I'm not my story. However, it's a part of my story. Like, my story is my story. And I want to move deeper in my healing. And receiving help there's wisdom in that. Truly. And that just is. So I'm going to take a little sniff of my flowers. Just like the bee. There's a bee right here. And that's the message. As always, my discovery call box for if you're looking for doula support is in the description box below. I have my free ebook, Held While You Bloom, also in the description box below. And lastly, you can join our Facebook community. It's called Spirit Baby Connect. And I would love to hear your stories about how you've connected with your spirit baby, your interest in spirit babies, all of that. But okay, happy Thursday.